Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. Today I am doing a rant review of the book Perfect Chemistry by Simone Eccles. I think in my September TBR I said her last name was Eccles and that was wrong, so it's Eccles. I'm actually kind of nervous to do this video. When I first started BookTube, I didn't think I was going to do any rant reviews, but reading this book changed my mind, and so we're gonna go over Perfect Chemistry by Simone Eccles. Look at all my tabs. We're gonna go over most of these. So yeah, a few things before we get started. Sorry if my lighting's bad. I'm in the middle of a hurricane or tropical storm, so that's what we're dealing with. Second thing is these opinions are my own. I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but I'm not sorry for my opinion. With that, let's get started. I'm gonna start with a non-spoiler description of this book, and then we're gonna go straight into all the spoilery stuff. Okay, so this book, Perfect Chemistry, is about Brittany, who is the popular perfect girl, and Alex, the Latino blood gang member. And Alex is put on a bet that he could sleep with perfect, popular Brittany in 2 months before Thanksgiving. And then they end up falling in love, and there's all this drama, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You think it's just a normal teenage love story, but it is way worse than that. And I'm just gonna go into it. So if you don't want spoilers, I would click off now. If you don't care about spoilers, let's go. So the reason I picked up this book for my September TBR is because it has been on my shelf for forever, or so I thought. I think I said that in my September TBR, but I actually got it like less than a year ago here. So I haven't had it for that long, but it's just been one of those books where you just like, you've seen it everywhere, you've seen it talked about. It's 10 years old. So it's like Twilight, it just never goes away. So I just thought I had it forever. So I decided to pick it up. Some of my Goodreads friends, they have it in their favorite books ever lists, and I trust these people, and I am concerned about them, and then I realized that they read it back in 2011. Hello. Hi. You like me? You like me? I trust these people. And it was concerning that they had it in their favorite list. So Perfect Chemistry has a 4.07 rating on Goodreads with 22,916 ratings. That, in case you don't know, is extremely high. So I didn't go into this book thinking this was going to be a rant review. I just thought I was going to talk about it in my September wrap up, and that was it. And I was going to give it a hearty 3 or 4 stars, and that was it. But no, this was problematic. It was bad. And even though it's 10 years old, I think it's okay that I'm talking about it 10 years later, because people are still gonna pick this book up, and I want them to know it's not good, it's problematic, and you think this is romance, but it's not. So let's get into some of these problems. He says Chichi and Mamacita like 1,600 times, and that in and of itself was just bad writing. So that's all I have to say about that. So this is definitely before the Me Too movement. They get partnered up in chemistry. That's why it's called Perfect Chemistry. Ha! They get partnered up in chemistry, and he writes on her notebook, "Saturday night, you and me, driving lessons and hot sex." I swear to God, children, if a man writes that to you in any shape or form, on your piece of paper in class, in a text message, in an email, or in your photo, tell someone, tell a grown-up, tell your friends. She just like laughed it off, and then she went and told all these lies to the class about him, which was something, okay, but she should have told the teacher. Obviously she was embarrassed. Anyone would have been embarrassed. But that is not a thing you say. It was so before the Me Too movement, just like, boys are gross, and that's not okay. So it gets worse. Let's keep going. On my purple tabs are sexual harassment. So we're probably gonna go through the purple tabs first, probably, because there's a lot of them. So now this is when they have made the bet that he can have sex with Brittany in 2 months. I'm gonna read this to you. They decide how they're going to prove that they have sex. Take a picture, Pedro suggests, or video. I bet we could make muchos valentes on that thing. We can title it Brittany Goes South of the Border. So not only are they trying to take Brittany's virginity in a bet, they are also trying to publicly display it to everyone. It's gross. Boys are gross. This book is gross. I hate this book. Okay, because it doesn't get any better. No, it sure doesn't. Okay, so Brittany has a boyfriend whose name I don't remember, maybe Colin, and he is also scum and really gross and pressures her to have sex like the entire time they're together in the book. So I just want to read you this passage. When I take my hand back, his arms snake around the front. He squeezes my boobs like they're water balloons. I never minded Colin's touch before, but now I'm annoyed and creeped out by his roving hands. I shrug out of his grasp. Obviously, she doesn't want to be touched like this. They're also in public. They're like on the beach in public with like their friends, and he's just like groping her, and she doesn't want to, and she runs away, and he's like super mad at her. So I'm just gonna say it again. Boys are gross. So they're still on the beach. Brittany has walked away from her friends, and she's made it into the Latino blood territory, and of course Alex is there. Brittany is drunk. Alex is also drunk and high, and I just want to read you this passage. This is from Alex's point of view. So now we're in Alex's point, and this is what he thinks about her. I don't know what to say or do. I'm alone with a very drunk Brittany Ellis. I'm not used to being alone with sloppy, drunk, white chicks, especially ones who turn me on. I can either take advantage of her and win the bet, or which would be a slam dunk in her condition, or let's just rewind the last part. I can either take advantage of her and win the bet, which would be a slam dunk in her condition. Brittany is drunk. That's rape. He's literally thinking about raping Brittany on the beach while she's drunk. This is rape. People think this is romantic. They're like, oh wow, Alex is so romantic. Yeah, he could definitely take advantage of her, but he decides not to. So they're like, wow, he's such a good guy. Definitely not a creep at all, but it gets worse. When I have sex with this girl, I want all my facilities. So he has no doubts that he's gonna bang Brittany, and he wants to be fully functioning when he does it. He's gross. He just thought about raping her and was like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm such a good guy. I can't do it because I'm so drunk and high as well. I can't do it. This is when I almost put the book down, and I think this is when I decided to do a rant review on this book because it is disgusting. The author, who is a female, literally described the man thinking about raping this drunk girl. So let me start by saying I started reading this book on ebook, but I knew I wanted to tab some things, and I've never tabbed a book before. I was literally reading the book on the computer at work like this. So I own the book, so I stopped reading immediately on ebook. I went home, I bought some tabs, and I started this book over. And when I got to this part, I was reading it at work with a male coworker there, and I read it to him, and he was like, that's rape, right? And I was like, correct, Steven, that is rape. So this book is targeted to young adults, and this author just described this man thinking about raping this 16-year-old, maybe 18-year-old. It doesn't matter how old she is. He talked about raping her. So, awesome. That's where we are. That was my big sexual harassment issue. This book is disgusting. Okay, but it gets worse. My number one pet peeve in books, any book, doesn't matter the book, is misrepresentation of mental illness. That is why I DNF The Darkest Minds at page 200. It's why I DNF a lot of books. It's disgusting. I hate it. This book had some examples of those, and they are tabbed blue. So, I understand being a teenager. I understand whatever. I just think it's harmful when authors do this. There are other words that they could use, and they end up using the big mental illnesses to describe how they're feeling. So at this point, she says, "I got it, Dad. I say totally depressed now." Thing about colleges and stuff, if she doesn't pass this chemistry test, you're not clinically depressed now because your dad is telling you you might fail chemistry. You're sad or angry or whatever, but you don't get depressed in 1 second because your father told you you might fail chemistry. That's page 45. I think this is when I decided to start tabbing this book, and I stopped reading it on ebook because I was like, oh, okay. But then there's a worse one. It's towards the end of the book. So Brittany and Alex get together, they're boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever, and they broke up or they're breaking up or stuff is happening with the Latino blood and whatever. Either way, let me read you this paragraph. Obsessed is more like it, but yeah, I saw you happy. Happier than you've been in a really, really long time. With someone you like that much, the lows are as low as the highs are high. Does that make sense? It does. It also makes me sound bipolar. I was reading this at work, and I put it down and I walked away, and I swear to God, I almost put it in the trash can and didn't even do this review. The reason I DNF The Darkest Minds is because Alexandra Bracken described the weather as bipolar. That might not be a big deal to you. If that's not, that's okay. Apparently it's a me thing, whatever. But she described a relationship and herself as bipolar, just, for fun. And let me tell you, I never wanted to address this on my channel. I wasn't planning on doing it at all, but I am diagnosed with bipolar too. So it pisses me off when they're just throwing the word bipolar around. Oh, the weather in Virginia is so bipolar. Ha ha ha, that's so funny. My relationship is so bipolar, the highs and lows, so funny. It's fucking rude. Please don't do it. If you use the word bipolar not as a medical diagnosis, can you please take it out of your vocabulary? If you see authors doing it, could you please call them out on it? Because it's not funny. I fucking hate this book. I fucking hate this writing. I fucking hate how she said that she was bipolar because her relationship had highs and lows. No. That is my rant on bipolar. Okay, this gets worse, so let's just go. So Brittany and Alex are together, whatever. Alex is in a gang. It's so stereotypical of Mexicans. It was disgusting. It was so stupid. Alex is in a gang, and he is told by the boss that he has to do a big drug deal, and Brittany tries to get him out of it by having sex with him that night. She's a virgin, but she decides that she just goes to where he works in a trench coat and a bra, and that's it, and seduces him. So that's how they have sex for the first time. That also means that Alex wins the bet. So shit goes down, and Alex ends up in the hospital, and Brittany goes to visit him, and Alex tells Brittany that all she was a part of a bet to make her leave because his life is too dangerous. So fast forward 5 months, she's still in love with this dirtbag who used her for sex, even if he did end up falling in love with her, used her for sex. 5 months later, she's like, I just love him so much, whatever. She moves to Colorado. It's a big thing. Okay. Then she visits her sister who has cerebral palsy, and that was the only diversity in the book. And he's there, of course. He's all clean and nice and wholesome, whatever. So they make up, and he gets down on one knee, and I swear to God, I threw the book down on the floor. I couldn't do it. They're 18, and he's like, in 4 years, I'll marry you, and I gagged. I finished because there were only 2 pages left. It ended with their son in the same chemistry class with the teacher they both had, and his name is Paco after their dead friend, and he's, the cutest kid in class and not in a gang, and it was the one of the worst books I've ever read. I'm throwing... That's my unhaul pile. Now I never have to look at this book ever again. I'm sorry if this was messy. This was my first rant review, but I felt like I couldn't say all of this in a wrap-up. I wanted to tell you why I didn't like it. It was especially the mental illness thing. As you can see, I got very passionate about that. But the sexual harassment and the thinking about raping her on the beach is really what cinched it for me. The only videos I have seen about this book, hold on. Okay. The only videos I have seen about this book are from 5 to 3 years ago, telling you why you should read this book. So I'm telling you, please, for your own sanity, don't read this book. If you want to hate read this book, get it from your library. Do not give this author any more royalties. She doesn't need it. There's also 2 more books in this series based on Alex's brothers. Don't do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm definitely not doing it. Don't do it. If you want to hate read, get it from your library. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching this very messy review. If I ever decide to do another rant review, it will probably be more coherent. I'm obviously still angry about this book. Thank you for watching. Bye.